very warm welcome to you all to the one-on-one set. In the studio tonight, we have with us an author, Samuel David. He has, in fact, written a book along with four other authors titled Fusion. It is a collection of prose and poetry. And tonight, during this episode of One on One, Samuel is going to share with us more about his passion for poetry writing and about his new book. Samuel, thank you so much for joining us in the studio of the NBC.
Thank you for inviting me on this emission.
Samuel, so you've written a collection of prose and poetry along with four other authors. It's titled Fusion. First of all, share with us how did the idea of writing come up? Where did you spark the interest?
I can say since I was very young, I was interested about writing. And at school, while doing comprehension, storytelling, and all this, I was very interested to develop the creative thinking. I was always in my imaginary world, always thinking about creative things. And I remember when I was in Form 1, yes, I was very inspired by Fable de La Fontaine and wanted to write like the author. So I was always attracted about literature, storytelling, and all this. So where did the idea came up? It was when I joined my friend Johan, who wrote the book together with me. He was my school classmate. Yes, he was my classmate, and we were in the same French literature class, and we were we were like a good friend, always talking about literature, always debating, argumenting about different topics. So afterwards, we kept this connection, and through Facebook, we kept the connection. And
You stayed
one
in
day,
touch.
yes, still in touch. And one day, he came up with the idea to write a book together with four authors, like we have Oba, Ken, and Tana. Yes.
Okay, so was writing initially a way for you to express your emotion? Because poetry is really about emotion, right?
Yes. Through poetry, we can talk about facts and in a like a creative way, because we all face situations in life that is somehow difficult to talk. So writing help us to like we are talking through our hands, and writing for many people is a very good way to express their views and yes, convey emotions. So it's like a therapy.
So true.
Yes.
Yes. And so share with us about your bonding with the four authors. Do you all four know each other?
So we can say that when we met, we were already friends on Facebook. For example, Ken and Johan, we were like very in touch. But for Tana and Oba, we we came more in touch afterwards.
Mhm.
And while starting to talk, and when Johan began the project, and when we were talking, we could find that we shared the same philosophy, the same way of thinking, and the same passion. And when I discovered their writing style, their talent, I was impressed. Yes, and I could say that we found people who are like us, and it's very good. We like to find people who are like us, sharing the same thoughts and having the same like perspectives. And when talking to each other, we can say that it's like a synergy who created. And I can say that it's very important, first of all, to have a good bonding before engaging in such a project. Yes.
Indeed. So, did you actually always have in mind to write a book, or was after meeting them?
Yes, since long I wanted to write a book, but I was more towards novels. I really like novels, classic type,
Fiction.
yes. And I didn't thought that one day I would go towards poetry. And when I joined the slam, we have a there is a group in Mauritius, a slam, where each month they organize like open stages for uh, any people who is passionate, who want to share their thoughts, can come and make their slam and poetry. So this helped me to discover another part of me. Like I can write poetry also, and through this stage, the slam family, it's like a family. This helped me to develop my writing
Skills for
skills. Yes,
poetry.
yes, for poetry. Yes.
So, what was your creative process for writing poetry then?
So writing poetry is first of all we need to be a good observer. So I like to observe everything around me, how people talk, how people different approach, and
The way they behave?
yes, the way people behave, and this help us to be able to write, and also while writing, like I said previously, there are things that is difficult for us that are difficult for us to talk, and through poetry we can talk about it because nobody will judge us when writing because we are alone with our pen and and paper. And yes, but sometimes we talk about things who are like can be very dramatic for us, but we need to be able to put it in a more creative way. Not saying directly, saying things directly, but indirectly
Subtle way.
pass the message. And the writing process for me is more about what I observe around me, things that make me happy or things that make me feel low, and it's like this. Yes.
It's mostly about going with the flow then.
Yes, we need to go with the flow because fusion is like uh, creating a bonds and also go with the flow. Like when you see the cover of the book, it's like how can we say that electricity, back with sparkles, and it's like we see that life itself. It's about just let go.
Indeed.
Yes,
Yes. I was actually coming to that. You say that you were more into, novels,
yes,
storytelling, and then you turned to poetry along with your four other friends. So, what was
yes,
the theme that you chose to talk about in the book? It's very philosophical to talk about
yes,
life, themes that everyone, can relate in today's world.
yes, exactly. So the themes, I can say that there are words who come very oftenly when writing. And for example, I have been talking a lot when thinking about it. I say I can see myself writing a lot about specific things because it's about what I'm facing at the moment. I was talking a lot about it. I was talking a lot also about hope and how
On
like
the positive aspect of
yes.
life.
So talking when we write mostly about it can be like negative at the beginning, and then when ending the poetry, we say that there is hope. We make people like
At the
uh,
end of the tunnel, there's always hope, there's always
yes,
light.
like
That's the
this.
idea, right?
Yes, that's the idea. So there are different ways of writing. For me, when writing one poetry, it can be there can be different themes in one poetry. We can the person who is reading, he can relate to
Interpret
him.
in his own way.
Yes, interpret
Very
in his own way.
subjective then.
Yes,
Yes.
because it can be about love. Maybe one person can read and relate it to a love story that he lived, and another person can relate it to, for example,
An
like a
achievement, a
fight, an
career achievement.
achievement, or
Yes.
anything else.
Yes.
Yes,
Definitely. I think that's the beauty of poetry. It's open
yes,
to interpretation.
yes. That's
And
very
based
good.
on the individual experiences, everyone can
Yes,
relate to it to their own level, right?
yes, it's good.
So, talk to us now about, do you actually have any special ritual that you do, any special habit that you do before writing?
Sometimes we can say that we don't have the inspiration to write,
Yeah.
and in this way it's important to have like to find inspiration, and in this way we can, for example, set ourselves like in a lonely place, or go to nature, and try to see what can
To cut
motivate
off a
us.
bit.
Yes, cut off. It's very important to cut off, because in this rush, we
Sometimes writing can be overwhelming too.
yes, it can be. I remember one day I had to write a poetry for Islam, and while writing, I didn't know what to write, and I needed to write for the Islam competition, and I took a piece of paper, and I started to write the first word that came, and when you start to write, you go with the flow. So you just have to, the ritual here, I think it's like you have to put on paper what's now actually on your
What's going on in the
mind,
mind?
what's
Yeah.
going on.
Just
Yes,
released on paper. Yeah.
yes, release it, and also find inspiration, meet people who inspire us. Yes.
And so talk to us about the title of the book Fusion. Why the title?
Yes, fusion, it came like a we can say like coming from heaven, the title, because fusion, it's really fusion when we met each other and see that we share the same way of thinking, and our conversation was very like
A flowing.
yes, flowing, and we saw that we didn't have to put much effort to motivate our friend, and every day we were sharing our thoughts, something that we wrote, something that we found interesting, because we first of all was bounded by the love for philosophy, and yes, fusion for us is like everyone is like in his busy stuff, doing lots of things, and people ask themselves many questions, and we we ask existential
Questions.
questions. So we found that it's important for us to talk about uh, we came, Johan and I, for example, we in literature at school, we were doing Simone de Beauvoir, who was talking a lot about this topic, existentialism. So like we have this way of seeing things in
Differently,
this
right?
way, yes, and asking questions about our identity and all this. So when we met, we were talking a lot about identity problem. How do we relate ourselves? How do we found ourselves in society?
Very nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
good.
So the book was in fact published in December 2023.
Yes.
And so what's the next project now? Are you five intending to write the collection of prose and poetry or thinking about novels?
So while discussing, we found that each and everyone have different aspirations. For example, Tana, who likes to give explanations. To he wants to write a book on explanations, on psychology and all this, because he explained very well these
Like self-help
things.
book.
And we have, for example, Ken, who draws very well, and he likes like manga and all these, and writing a fiction in this way. We have Oba also, who have different style, and we we said that maybe in the next future we can write like short stories, maybe with pictures, and make it become more like interesting for youngsters. Yes.
And we wish you all the best.
Thank
And
you.
any advice you would like to give to aspiring writers who are watching you right now?
So, like, to motivate new writers, you say. So I will encourage each and everyone to don't be afraid to share their thoughts. And anytime you feel that you want to express something, do it, because this is very important for you to get out of your mind some thoughts, and this can be in turn an inspiration for others. So for me, I would like to motivate each and everyone who is passionate to go forward and just write. Don't be afraid of writing. And there are different style of writing. They can choose any style they want. Yes, and meet people who can inspire us. It's very important to be well, accompagné. Yes.
Thank you, Samuel. It was a delight to have you on the show tonight and learn more about the book Fusion and your passion for writing.
Thank you so much.
Dear viewers, I hope you have enjoyed this interview. And now, before we close this episode, I would like to propose to you an interview that was conducted by my colleague Ashley Sitana with Colin Jackson. He is a former Welsh athlete and has contributed significantly to the 110 meters. He, in fact, has an impressive record of an Olympic silver medal, two championship wins, and two Commonwealth Games victories. Have a look at this interview.
Hi, I'm Colin Jackson. I'm the International Sport Director for Wings for Life World Run. Now, in my former life, I was a world champion athlete and Olympian, a world record holder in 110-meter hurdles and 60-meter hurdles. And now I say I have the huge privilege of being the Wings for Life World Run International Sport Director.
So this year, Mauritius, just like the other years also, will be organizing the World Run, of course, by Red Bull. So how do you think this initiative of the Mauritian to organize such an sports event?
Well, it's really, really important, I think, globally to get as many nations as we can involved in this, not just in the health side of it and the activity side of it, which we all know the positivities of that, but also to feel part of one big global event. It means it doesn't matter how small you are or how big you all share in a situation, an occasion, and you can talk about it across the world at exactly the same time. And I think this is one of the huge beauties. So when smaller nations get involved as well, I think that it's really important for them to feel like they're very much part of the global picture.
Of course, and Mauritius, we don't just organize the World Run, we organize many other sports activities. So, how do you as an ex-athlete, how do you see this initiative of the government to organize so many activities throughout the year?
I think it's really important. I generally do. And I think I love that it puts a nation on the map. We know how important sporting occasions are because people from all over the globe watch when activities like this are happening. So the focus becomes on nations when big events are happening. So for me, this is one of the best things, that if government pushes sport, pushes activities, and it gives them a massive global reach in a way that not many things can do. So that's why I really feel that sport is one of the best things that we can do to keep pushing our nations forward.
The World Run, organized, of course, by Red Bull, just don't make sports events, but also cooperate with technology. We can see that when people are running, they are with a mobile phone just to record their track. So how do you
Yeah,
think it's, of course, technology and sports that we have in 2024 now?
yeah, no, that's a really great question. That, and one of the things, the reason why I'm smiling is because one of the things that we really set out in doing from the beginning. So this is year 11 for the Wings for Life World Run, and that from the very beginnings of the event, we want to get 1 million people running at exactly the same time. Now, we understood from the very beginnings that we will not be able to have as many road closures, etc., across the globe to achieve that 1 million people running exactly the same time. But the way we can do that is by using technology. So we started developing the app and the opportunities for people to run on the app and still feel very much part of the event. So this is for us, this is why we've been developing it from the very beginnings, because we knew what our target was, and we know that technology is the way for us to achieve ultimately our goal.
You are saying 1 million people. I guess you want more than 1 million people, isn't it?
Do you know what? I'd love 5 million people when you think the size of this planet, right? And when you think of some of the big cities across the world, why should we get 5 million? Of course. But that was really our target, our dream, because that seems like something exceptional, and that would be a real target for any other event to try and match. Well, already we have over 200,000 people running, which is great. But we feel that we can get more and more and more. And ultimately, it's for this great cause, of course, to eliminate spinal cord injury. So for us, this is one of the best things that we can drive our message forward.
Uh, how can we just encourage these people to reach, of course, 5 million people and more, of course?
Word of mouth, first of all, is one of the best things. So, when people get involved and take part in the event, straight away they have this sense of, that was great. I loved it. I want to be part of it. And then they tell people who then tell people who tell people. So it can grow organically as well as from us pushing from internally. So for me, it's really important that we marry up those two things. But as part of the international sporting team, the actual event team, for me, one of the most important things is that we deliver a good event. Because if we deliver a good event, then people will want to come back and they will tell their friends that they had a great time as well. So that's what's really crucial on the event side of it, that we do our job well.
Have you have occasion to follow our athletes in the recent games that we had?
Do you know what? I haven't had that real opportunity, unfortunately. We've been working so hard because I coach myself now as well. And so I've been focusing a lot on the GB team at this moment in time, and helping them with their preparations towards the Olympic Games in Paris.
You're talking about Olympic Games. What are you expecting this year as an ex-athlete, of course, in the 110-meter hurdles?
Oh, dude, it's always an exciting event, the 110-meter hurdles. Having the hurdles in the way always cause the problem, right? And there's so many great high hurdlers this moment. The race, of course, if you speak to Grant Holloway, who's the world indoor champion at the moment, 60-meter hurdles, he would always say he's got to look at the Jamaicans. And if you talk to the Jamaicans, Parchment, Broadbell, Omar McLeod, they would say, you got to look at the United States. But I, as a European, always remind them, well, we got a couple of good French hurdlers, we got a couple of good Swiss hurdlers, we got a couple of good British hurdlers. So the talent across the board in that event is just exciting for me. So I look forward to see potentially who's going to become the Olympic champion.
Can we say that we can expect new world records this year in the Olympic Games?
Oh, we'd always say there's going to be world records. The athletes are in phenomenal shape at the moment. And I'm thinking potentially we'll get one in the women's 400-meter hurdles. That is one event I would say we target on. Potentially the women's sprint hurdles as well, over the 100-meter hurdles. There could be a world record there. So there's always going to be that opportunity for world records to be set. And the Olympic Games is that magical place where all athletes would love that to happen.
So, Colin, just a few words also about just a message for the merchant people who are watching you and who wish maybe to become the next Colin Jackson.
Do you know what? One of the most important things is to have a good time, have a lot of fun. If you have fun, then you're able to work hard. And if you work hard at anything, you can become good at it. So, start your journey any way you particularly want to. If you're a distance runner, maybe Wings for Life World Run is the way you begin. You get the belief and the excitement and the buzz of running. And I think that in itself is really important. So, just have a great time in whatever you do.
That's a great advice for all the people. Thank you a lot, Colin Jackson, for this interview.
Thank you very much. And I'd love to see as many people as you can on May the 5th, starting in Mauritius.
Dear viewers, we have now come to the end of this episode. Thank you for your time. We hope to catch you next week at the same time, same channel. Have a great evening.